Now, the time has come for a keynote address that will indisputably leave a lasting impact. Allow me to welcome a revered leader whose dedication to the association stands as a beacon of inspiration. A person who has not only carved a name for himself, but also guided numerous others towards betterment. Comrades, please put your hands together and welcome Comrade Nilesh Pawar, General Secretary, Federation of Bank of India Officers Associations, and General Secretary, Mumbai and Goa Unit, to inspire us with his keynote address.
Friends, before our beloved Nilesh delivers his speech, he is landing at this soil of Tamil Nadu for the first time upon taking over as the General Secretary of our beloved Federation and 2 times the signatory of the joint note. So it's our privilege to honor him before he delivers his speech. I request my President and my team members to join me for a small felicitation.
Vanakkam, comrades. A very warm good afternoon to each one of you. The President of the unit and President of this function, Comrade Jaishankar ji, President of Federation and General Secretary of Andhra and Telangana unit, and our beloved Nagesh Anna, the General Secretary of Southern unit and the architect of this meeting, Comrade Amarnath ji, General Manager FGMO Chennai, Mukesh ji, and as rightly said by him, he is my elder brother. We have worked together and many tricks and trade of banking I have learned from him. He is one of the ace credit persons that I have come across in our bank. Zonal managers, Kishore ji, Mohan ji, DGM NBG, Srinath ji, our beloved working president, Comrade Shwetang ji, Deputy General Secretary in our Federation, Comrade Sanil ji, the Bhishma Pitama of Southern Unit, Comrade Ishwaran ji, Chairman of Southern Unit in absentia, Comrade Dr. VCK ji, Chairman of Federation and one of our tallest leaders, our beloved Comrade Sanjay Da, General Secretary of Boioa, Narayan Swami ji, General Secretary of AIBA Southern Unit, Comrade Sridhar ji, on the dais, Vinod ji, Purshian ji, all the dignitaries of the dais, and most importantly, all the comrades who have come from the length and breadth of the entire Tamil Nadu state. A very warm good afternoon to each one of you. And today, when I stand across in front of you all, I really feel humbled and privileged to address you all. At the outset, let me thank you all for the very warm felicitation that you all gave and the warm response that you all gave. As a General Secretary, it's my bounden duty to inform you all what is happening at the bank, at industry level, because fortunately or unfortunately, all my previous speakers have very smartly and intelligently passed on many things to me, and I will have a look at the watch also. But before I start, I'll just see at the audience, I see very young faces, especially chit-chatting there, standing. I'm sure it is very important, but if it is not that important, you can take the chairs. Thank you. See, what is the problem? It is not a problem. It's a generation gap. It happens with me also. When we few friends meet, we start talking to each other. And we miss where we are sitting, where we are standing. Because what happens? We start recollecting our induction days, joining days. Maybe few people start go a bit more back and recollect their college days. Thinking of the college days, I recollect at all the colleges across the country. Obviously, when you all would have joined the bank, I see very young faces over here. Most of them would have joined bank in the last decade or so. That is after IBPS came. I'm sure when you all had filled the form for IBPS or for the entrance exam, you all would have thought, yeah, everybody, including me, had thought that banking is a very good job. 10 to 4, post 4, you'll get time to spend with your family. You'll get time to spend with your friends. Like that, you can chit-chat. Or you can play a sport. So you can swim. You can have family time, have dinner time. Early morning, you can have time to go to gym, exercise. Because today also, all our relatives think that a banker's job is 10 to 4. But is it so? In your college days, you must have celebrated all the types of day. Valentine's Day, Chocolate Day, Rose Day, Traditional Day. When you entered bank, you got to know one important day, login day. It's a very nice statement that I have heard somewhere. In banks, not only in our bank, in most of the banks, everywhere, in all organizations, every day is a login day. Few days are Maha login days. See, jokes apart, the whole purpose of having login days is to generate business. But as very rightly said by our president, Nagesh ji, that we need to understand the importance of business, but let us not be so skeptical कि इसी दिन करना है. Business हमको रोज करना है और उसके लिए कोई specific day नहीं है. When I talk about that, I feel as the workforce of our bank, it is our bounden duty to ensure that our bank, our mother institution, like what my previous speakers have said, should regain its past glory. And for that, the entire officer fraternity is working hard. Yes, only thing that we have apprised our top management also, at IBA level also, that we need good working conditions. When I talk about good working conditions, let me tell you, let me candidly confess with you that this joint note, the 9 joint note signed between IBA and officer organizations, has ensured that the dignity and the self-respect of the officers community is restored. And when I say that, I take the complete ownership about this statement, because ऐसे नहीं है कि earlier the working conditions were not that good, but there were severe glaring anomalies. जैसे अगर मैं officers का बात करूं, if at all there is an officer who clears CIB, he used to get how many increments? 1 increment. And if at all, Sridhar sir, nothing against, just if any clerk or workman used to clear, he used to get 2 increments. Why? Was their paper more difficult or was our paper more easy? The paper was same, the qualifications are same. Gone are the days when clerks or workmen used to be undergraduates. Today, a clerk is joining, he is coming with a degree of MTech, MBA. So, why should be there anomaly? If at all, husband, wife in the same bank are clerks, both will get LFC. If both are officers, only one will get LFC. Like, we have done crime marrying a bank officer. Those were the anomalies. Again, in this settlement, we ensured that the CIB increment becomes uniform. हमको किसी का कम नहीं करना है. We don't want to reduce anybody's. We only want betterment for everybody. Our sub-staffs, our clerks, our officers, everybody should get benefit. So, in this joint note, we got 2 increments for CIB. For LFC also, we got it clarified. When I talk about our officers, the most important or the most glaring anomaly was fitment. Whenever any senior clerical used to get promoted to officer's cadre, because of the fitment, his salary used to get reduced. That was the most glaring anomaly, because if somebody is taking promotion, somebody is accepting bigger responsibility, ideally his salary should be increased. Yes or no? But it was getting reduced. So, we brought this to the notice that if at all somebody is taking more responsibility, he should be compensated. It was basically because of the hump increment in the final stages of clerical level, where because of seniority that 18 stage was introduced, and if somebody after that gets promoted to officer, his salary used to get reduced. If somebody who is a scale 2 senior officer, he used to get promotion to scale 3, his salary, his basic was just getting increased by 500 rupees. So, we informed IBA that if you want the officers to take larger responsibilities, to rise up the ladder, you should compensate them properly. So, a very simple fitment formula was introduced. If there is any promotion to any cadre, from CC to GBO, from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, any promotion, there should be difference of at least 1 stagnation increment, so that it is at least properly compensated. When I talk about the dearness allowance, we got the conversion factor increased from 0.054 to 0.06. We changed the DA index from 1960 to 2016. I'll not be more technical onto that, because अगर मैं वो ज़्यादा बोलने जाऊँ, तो I'm sure those who are now sitting here will go out, or they will go for tea break, or just understand that in this joint note, we have got more than 97 benefits. One among them is learning allowance, which has increased from 600 to 850 rupees plus DA, and I'm sure 70% or 80% of people sitting over here would not have read the 97 benefits. कोई है जिसने पूरा पढ़ा है? See, आपके फायदे की चीज, it is for your benefit. So I would request you all, once when you go home, have a glance and see what all benefits have been attributed in this joint note for your benefit, not for my benefit, for your benefit, so that you will understand what your organization is doing for you all. Because in coming days, only a person who reads or who adapts will survive, because it's a very change and dynamic scenario outside, and if you don't adapt, if you don't read, if you don't update yourself, soon in 5 to 10 years you will be redundant. You matlab the workforce will be redundant. So my request to you all would be, once definitely read the joint note. It has series of benefits. When I say about benefits, right from PL encashment to be increased from 240 days to 255 days. For our pensioners, we got ex gratia. Many of our senior comrades, they said that we wanted pension updation. ex gratia is just a small benefit, but let us see it as a step towards pension updation. Because the day pension updation will happen, at least utna load kam aayega. That much load will be less. When I talk about the per requisite for transfer, the amount for inconvenience was increased. Initially we used to get 7 days. Now we are getting 15 days lodging boarding. All those benefits are getting increased so that you are properly compensated. And when I say that the monetary things are increased, more than that, the non-monetary benefits, the working conditions are getting better for the interest of all the employees. When I see that 40% of the workforce in any bank belongs to female cadre, so we definitely need to ensure that the female workforce gets that some extra benefit so that they can balance their family as well as office. I'm sure you all must have seen now in HRMS, the 1-day sick leave is already implemented. It was because of this joint note that we got this 1-day sick leave without the production of medical certificate for all our female employees, so that we cannot nomenclate it as menstrual leave, but it is for that reason, so that the female employees can get some time, some relief from their office work. They can take rest. When I talk about that, in non-monetary benefits, today, most of the cases we see that most of the couples, they are going to family way via treatment of IVFs. So we ensured that even for IVF, a person should get, the lady should get 1 year maternity leave. For our male employees, we ensured, or for all the employees, we ensured that the sick leave should be extended up to 720 days, so that during the time of distress, during the time of sickness, if they have leaves, sufficient leaves, they should not be going on loss of pay. When I talk about loss of pay, we have floated a very noble concept of leave bank. I'm sure most of you would have seen that in cases where the employee faces terminal diseases like cancer, tumor, any dreadful disease, or the employee meets with an accident and is not in a position to come to office, there comes a time when his leaves get lapsed. And unfortunately, we don't want to, but we have to put in on loss of pay because his leaves are exhausted. And when the time the family needs the money the most, the staff needs the money the most to pay for the medical bills, we cut down his salary or we put in on loss of pay. For that concept, we introduced leave bank. What will happen in leave bank? If there is a fit employee, if there is some well-to-do, good individual, he has sufficient leaves and he wants to donate his leaves to that employee who is going on loss of pay, he can donate that leaves to him so that he should not be put on loss of pay. Such noble initiatives where at least that family gets that salary, this leave bank is introduced. When I talk about such incidents, it reminds me of bereavement leave. In many banks, in many other places, people don't get leaves to attend last rites of their family members. Though it does not happen in our bank, or especially in FGMO, Chennai, but at many places in other banks, people don't get leaves to perform last rites of their immediate family members. So we introduced the concept of bereavement leave, where at least during that time, when the death of a close relative happens, the employee should be given compulsory leave so that he can attend the leaves of that family member. When I talk about air travel, earlier it was 1,000 kilometers, now it is reduced to 500 kilometers. We introduced a very simple thing, though it was already there in our bank, but at other places, because there were decline of leaves, we introduced that if any authority has to decline the leave, he has to give a reason, give a valid reason for declining the leaves. When I talk about non-monetary things, there are various series of benefits which are yet to be crystallized. One most important thing among that is the disciplinary proceedings. Today, what is the most challenging phase of any officer is when he faces any disciplinary proceeding. I am sure most of you would not have gone through that grueling process where any officer gets a charge sheet. Today, because of any operational lapse, as a banker, we are expected to do business decisions, we are expected to take business decisions for growing the business. And if at all there is any operational lapse, it gets very easily termed as vigilance. We have submitted a detailed white paper for vigilance, non-vigilance, what should be categorized as vigilance, what should be categorized as non-vigilance, what should be major, what should be minor. Because in the process of doing regular business, we are expected to commit some mistakes. We are expected to do business decisions which may go wrong. And at posterity, you can think that ये decision क्यों लिया, लेकिन उस समय पे, that time, that decision was valid. So, we have submitted a detailed paper, what should be categorized as vigilance, what should be categorized as non-vigilance. If there are any of your friends in SBI, you can ask them. They have a very fantastic concept of monetizing their LFCs. Today, in our bank or in most of the PSUs, if you encash your LFC, you get maximum roughly 8,000 rupees per dependent. Correct? I'm sure most of you would not have encashed your LFCs, but जिसने किया है वो जानता होगा कि just 8,000 rupees per dependent में कोई आदमी कहीं नहीं जा सकता है. So, we have floated that concept that we want monetization of LFC on the lines of SBI. In SBI, if you monetize your LFC, you get 1 lakh rupees on each dependent. So, if you have a family of 4, husband, wife, 2 kids, or husband, wife, parents, or employee parents, then on each dependent, you will get 1 lakh rupees. So that with that amount, I'm sure an average middle class, upper middle class banker, because we belong to an middle class, upper middle class section of the society, we can travel anywhere in the country. Today what happens? If you apply for LFC, I'm sure even the best of the HRs will ask many questions. What was the starting point? What was the ending point? What was the circuitous route? What was the shortest route? All those hassles will be removed if you monetize your LFC. At the same time, with this amount, you can easily go to any part of the country and stay comfortably with your family. And I am sure if the person is a logical traveler, he will save some bucks also easily, because with 2.5 lakh, 3 lakh rupees, even after deducting tax, for a family of 4, 1.5, 2 lakh is more than sufficient. So, that is what we have floated. On the medical thing, today, the TPA that we have, the insurance setup that we have, is comparatively better than what was earlier. But what we have requested is that we don't want this setup to continue. What happens? Today, if there is any medical urgency, the person gets admitted to hospital or his dependent gets admitted to hospital, it is on the mercy of the TPA, it is on the mercy of the insurance company that the bill gets cleared. Many a times we have come across that because of non-clearance of bill, the discharge gets delayed. There are instances where even the person has expired, but the body is not released because the payment was not done. Those are very painful things that we have come across. That is why we have requested IBA that we want to come out of this IBA policy. We don't want to be in this IBA policy because if you see today the premium that we pay and the reimbursement that our employees get, the premium that we pay is X. For the sanctity of the conversation, I cannot disclose the amount, but the premium that our bank or the premium that the most of the banks pay is, for the sake of good order, assume it to be 100 rupees, and the claim that is coming is 70 rupees. Plus, on the 100 rupees, we have to pay 18 rupees GST also, 18%, which takes it to 118 rupees, and what we are getting in return is 70 rupees. So, we have requested IBA that we need to come out of this policy, which will ensure that our employees get the treatment or the disposal of their cases becomes fast. At the same time, as a commercial organization, bank will also save crores of rupees, because as on date, what we are claiming is less than the premium amount, plus we will save on the 18% GST, which will ensure that our bank also gets benefit of those few crores. At the same time, when I talk about the pending things, the PLI, I am sure most of you would have awaited. Sanjay Da very elaborately mentioned that our bank has achieved the corporate goal set by our MD and CEO for the financial year March 24, which ended on March 24. And like rightly he has said that our MD and CEO had appealed everybody to ensure that our business mix crosses 13.01 lakh crore. And kudos to each one of you that you ensured we crossed 13.23 lakh CR. And we could be eligible for 5 days PLI. But before it was credited in any of the bank, the parameters of PLI are getting changed, because we had recommended it to IBA. AIBOC has recommended to IBA that growing bank year on year 15% gross profit is not a cakewalk. No organization can grow with that pace. So, if you want us to grow, then 15 days PLI won't be eligible for everybody. That is why we have requested for change of parameters at bank level. And it gives me immense pleasure to tell you that in the recent meeting at IBA, it has been decided to have more than 8 parameters. Out of that, the 5 parameters who are beneficial to the bank, the individual bank board can take a call to choose those 5 parameters so that the employees are eligible for the maximum PLI. When I talk about my young employees, the most important thing today that my fellow comrades ask for is old pension scheme. Today, if I go with the figures with our bank, out of 53,000 employees, sub-staff, clerk, officers, more than 46,000 are under NPS. That's the size of the new the employees who have joined in our bank after 2010. So, what is the most crucial thing for them is the return on investment that they are getting. See, as a principal demand, we have put up the demand for old pension scheme for all our employees. But it's an industry level thing. It is not only with banks. It is with insurance companies, state government employees, central government employees. So, What is prudent leadership, comrades? The prudent leadership is till the time you achieve your principal demand, you should ensure that your small demands or something which will facilitate your demand should be crystallized. And that is why we have demanded that all the NPS employees should be given a choice to choose their fund in NPS. Today what happens? Anybody of you I would ask, which is the fund in which the NPS contribution is going, monthly contribution? Can anybody just tell? SBI pension fund. And rough return that people are getting? Rough return? 8%? 7.5 to 8%. Those who have joined a bit early, maybe 8.5. Correct? Is that the return that you expect when you are investing into equities? The problem is the SBI pension fund has an exposure of 14% into equities. When I say that we have more than 46,000 of our employees who are less than 40 years of age, with a service of more than 20 years, is that the right return that we should get? So what we have requested is, as per NPCI, as per PFRDA circular, the employee should be given an option to choose among the 9 available funds. So, we have put it across to our top management in our CCC also. And it gives me immense pleasure to tell you that active work is going on to this, so that all the employees who are considered as financially literate, I consider every banker to be a financially literate person. So, anybody who gives a declaration that he's a financially literate person should be given an option to choose the fund. And it gives me immense pleasure to tell you that our bank is actively considering it. Because the whole purpose of having this demand is, the day we may fructify our demand of old pension scheme, at least till that time, if you have an option to invest into choice of your fund, then your return on investment will go up by 13%, 14%, and your corpus will increase. So that when the OPS option will come, you need not sell anything from your pocket. What had happened in 2009, my senior comrades can definitely throw some light onto it. We had to pay from our pocket to buy the second pension. We had to pay. So, it's our demand, so that the corpus becomes so huge that it is itself sufficient to buy this demand. Because what is there? Today, all the funds of NPS are invested into infrastructure, roads, airports, ports, infrastructure projects. So, to get this demand to OPS, when it is an industry thing, it is very difficult. So at least we should ensure that the corpus goes up. At the same time, when I talk about our bank, many benefits we could clinch. जैसे CCC में हमने बोला ये choice of fund. We had our Central Consultative Committee meeting in which we touched upon all the aspects, all the issues that my officers who are at grassroots level are facing. I'm sure most of you would have received the message, the personalized message that Federation of Bank of India Officer Association has sent to you all. See, people think that trade union is just about mass gatherings and this. Today, we make use of artificial intelligence. We also make use of the technology. With just one click, Federation of Bank of India Officer Association is able to send personalized messages to all the officers across the country, mentioning their benefits or understanding their issues. When we send that message to all our officers, we received thousands of replies, thousands of queries, and with that, we could ensure that all the issues faced by our officers were raised at CCC. Like today what happens, what is the most haunting task in our bank? after CKYC, obviously, it is opening an account on the e-platform. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct? What happens? I can take that liberty, Mukesh sir, to share few things. You have the best of the resource behind the computer, but there are glaring anomalies, glaring glitches in e-platform. What happens? Today, the CAPS is going to be discontinued from 30th of June and will be migrating to e-platform. Vehicle loan and बाकी तो already बंद हो गया है. जब भी we try to open new financial account, to loan account, what happens? It goes, it moves. After some time, when you reach the last stage for financial hands off, it gets hanged and you have to go back from the first page. So, we raised all this. We raised the issues of financial 10. We raised the issues of compliance. We raised the issues of audit. What happens if you see in any of the random branches, and it is across the country, अच्छे से अच्छा employee भी अगर चाहे, तो भी unless the infrastructure is right, unless the connectivity is there, they cannot perform. So, in this CCC, we raised all the issues that our officers are facing with respect to the bottlenecks, the grassroots issues, so that their day-to-day working life becomes easy. नहीं तो क्या होता है? You keep on calling call center, nobody picks up. You keep on lodging your complaint on BMC portal. 2 days, it gets resolved from the back end. Nothing has resolved, but they close the complaint. It happens or not? So, we have raised all those things. And the whole purpose of raising that is that our top management should also be aware in what situation, in what circumstances our officers are toiling hard to grow the business of the bank. See, what happens in most of the places, you cannot judge the potential of a fish by asking it to climb the tree. Fish ka kaam tairna hai, it is to swim. You can ask it to swim fast, but if you ask the fish to climb the tree, it cannot beat the monkey. Can it beat the monkey? That is what we need to understand. हम लोग किसी का हाथ पैर बांध दे and then you throw it in the pool and ask him to swim. He cannot swim. We have to give them that space. We have to give them that infrastructure so that they can perform. And very rightly said by Nagesh ji that what he does at Andhra and Telangana, you give them a preferred posting and then demand good business from them. If you give them good business, a good posting, they will definitely give their best to the bank. What happens? People are posted at far-flung areas, not over here, in other banks, in other places. Most of their energy goes waste in traveling only. They are neither able to give time at home, neither they are able to give time at office. So, we have raised that also. We have raised the most important thing of the transfer process. What happens? Every year, we used to declare our list by May or June. Unfortunately, this year, we were the first bank to declare when we all knew that elections are around the corner. Before 4th of June, before the result, the relieving reporting will not happen. It resulted into what? It resulted into muting the growth of Q1. When other banks took the call, we should have taken a call of ensuring that the transfer process sahi se sahi time pe ho. When I talk about CCC, we have not only raised the operational issues, we have raised all the monetary things also. And what is the most important thing for any employee in bank? Which is the most important loan or the first loan that the person takes? OD term loan. We have requested for change of modalities into that. We have requested that the staff housing loan, it seriously needs introspection, and the staff housing loan should be definitely enhanced. And it gives me real pleasure to tell you that our bank is actively working on it, and very soon all the staff housing loans currently, which are between the range of say 60 lakh rupees, because when we talk for everybody, right from Substack to our CGM to our ED and MD. We have requested, or we have put up the discussions for increasing the staff housing loan for, especially for officers, right from 1.20 crore to around 1.80 CR. And when I talk about that, I can understand that you would be seriously interested into that. But look at the other side of it also. Attracting that much of liability, and if something happens to the employee, the entire terminal benefits of the employee will go towards squaring of that loan. Because loan बढ़ाने में ज़्यादा time नहीं लगेगा. Very easily it can be to 1.5 CR, 1.6 CR. But if something, God forbid, if something happens to the employee, the house, the family, the kith and kin will be glaring at a liability of 1.5 CR. So, at the same time, we have said that while increasing the quantum of the staff housing loan, we should ensure that the modalities of the insurance for staff housing loan should be clarified. Just by merely writing one statement in housing loan won't suffice, and we need clear-cut guidelines so that all the staff housing loans are covered under credit insurance. So that if something happens to the employee, the liability will be squared off by the insurance. When I talk about monetary benefits, we have put up across increase in quantum of furniture and fixture. At the same time, we have put up replenishment of furniture and fixture, so that what happens today, if you buy any item under furniture and fixture, say you buy a TV, fridge, washing machine, after 5 to 7 years, it gets redundant, the technology gets obsolete. Bank has claimed depreciation onto it on its books. That item has become zero in the balance sheet of the books. So, what we have demanded is, you increase the quantum or not, that is separate. You at least give an option to the employee so that within the same quantum, he can buy back another item. Like, if today you have an eligibility of 2 lakh rupees, you have taken the 3-4 items in this 2 lakh rupees, and after 5 to 7 years, those items have become zero. You can buy back those items, and you can buy new items within the same 2 lakh rupees. That is replenishment. When I talk, we have demanded an increase in subsidized accommodation, because today the limits that we have, I am sure it is there across the country. Today, most of our employees are forced to stay at the outskirts of the city because the eligibility is that low. So, we have demanded an immediate increase in the staff subsidized accommodation limits. Additionally, we have appealed our top management that apart from having insurance, we need to have term insurance for all staff members also, because we are seeing deaths of many of our employees at the age of 45, 46 because of medical illness. What happens if there is accident? The staff is covered under accidental insurance because of the staff accounts that we have. But 95% of the deaths are because of medical or other reasons. So, We have it in peer banks like Bank of Baroda. All the staff employees should be having term insurance. So we have demanded that. See, I'm sure most of you will not be realizing the importance of having term insurance today, because as a society we feel term insurance अगर आदमी जी गया तो waste of money है. It is not a cost, it's an investment. And what we have demanded is the bank should pay for it, so that if there is any unforeseen incident, see, the insurance on housing loan will take care of the liability, but it will not ensure that the family gets something. So, to ensure that family gets some lakhs of rupees, few lakhs of rupees, so that they can carry on their standard of living, we need to have term insurance. Because when we see most of our staff members, especially our workmen cadre, they don't have insurance. And if something happens to them, their kith and kin, their spouse are really left. See what happens, we have seen this with our own eyes during COVID. We all wanted to help our people, but we could not. And in case of death, what happened? For 2 days, for 3 days, we expressed our sorrow, we gave our condolences. Who was looking to the family after 5 days? I'm not saying we are heartless. It is just that we get busy. And it is human. We all are humans. We have work. We'll get busy with our work. After those 5-7 days, nobody looks after that family. So, if that family wants to maintain that standard of living, they need some money. And for that, we have ensured that term insurance should be given. Likewise, when the last year when I came for the AGB, I had promised you all the increase in quantum of BSBS. I am sure most of you would have taken that benefit. Now, all the employees who are under BSBS, earlier they were covered for 1.75 lakh rupees. Now they are getting 5 lakh rupees. So, your association is doing whatever best it can to ensure that your monetary, non-monetary, when you are in service, when you are not in service, all the things are taken care. For the sake of tagline, I'm not demeaning LIC, but they say, जीवन के साथ भी जीवन के बाद भी. But it is only in Federation of Bank of India Officer Association that we think for the employees when they're in service or when they go, when they are no more in the world. So, it is only in Federation of Bank of India Officer Association that we ensure that we take care of the employee, their family members. When I talk about the Central Consultative Committee we have put up across various benefits for increase in lodging expenses. Today, the quantum that we have for lodging expenses, I'm sure you all know your eligibilities. With that eligibility, very soon, the lowest of the hotel in the city will also not be in your limits. So, what we have demanded is that there should be increase in lodging expenses. When I see that most of our officers are getting stagnated day by day because there are lack of promotions, we could address that in our joint note. In the history of 9 joint notes, never ever we could get so many stagnation increments. In this 9 joint note, we could ensure that we get 18 stagnation increments for all our officers. The main reason for that was we can foresee that all our officers who are in whatever scale right now, in next 3 to 4 years, that is before the next bipartite, will be stagnated in that scale. It is not because they are not competent. It is because we have a pyramidal structure where it gets more at the bottom and less at the top. So, today, what we see, I can give you from my example itself. For the first time when I was eligible for scale 4, the number of vacancies were around 415 and the number of candidates were 395. That means if any 3 to 4 aspiring candidate, you should tell his name properly, you should tell his PF properly, you should tell his posting properly, and he does not have vigilance case, he used to become chief manager. And what was the scenario in this promotion process? We had 127 vacancies and 850 candidates. The bottleneck, which was on 4 to 5, has trickled down to 3 to 4, and very soon, before the next bipartite, I am sure this promotion bottleneck will trickle down much below to 2 to 3. So, before the next bipartite, whosoever is in whichever scale might have to stay into that scale for 5, 7, 8 years, like it was earlier, 2 decades back. Because today we have CGMs who are less than 55, you have GMs who are less than 50, you have DGMs who have less than 40, 45. We have 2, 3 bright examples over here on the dais also. People have become zonal managers, general managers because of their competence. Now, every CGM will not become ED. Every GM will not become CGM. Every DGM will not become GM. And that we could foresee. That is why, in this joint note, we addressed it threadbare and ensure that we got 2 stagnation increments for scale 1, scale 2, scale 3, and we got 3 stagnation increments for scale 4, scale 5, scale 6, scale 7, which ensured that we get 18 stagnation increments in the throughout this bipartite period. Because whatever you do, see, howsoever motivation you give, there is no larger motivation than money. Let us be frank, heart to heart. I can share it with you. Today, if the person is kept at the same basic for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, will he be motivated to work? No. He will not be motivated to work. So for that, we have addressed that and ensured that we get those stagnation increments. At the same time, in our CCC, we have raised various pertinent issues like number of VCs. Somebody was talking about VCs. What happens, what we have seen across in many banks also, at some places at our bank, our top executives, they want to perform. Like, I'm taking just because I know Kishore sir very nicely, I'm just taking an example of Kishore sir. What can happen? Kishore sir, before leaving his house, would be prepared that today I have to have a ZLCC in the zone, I have to clear these proposals. He has some priorities in his mind. By the time he reaches office, he gets a call from head office that you have to attend a VC of credit monitoring. He attends the VC of credit monitoring. Before his VC gets over, he gets another call. His secretary gets a call that sir has to attend a VC of recovery. So from there he goes into recovery VC. And before that VC gets over, he gets another call that the most important VC is slated before lunch, the VC for third party product, the VC for Sud Life. So he does not get time to do his work. In the morning when he started from his house, he would have thought that I would do this. Same happens with branch managers. When they leave their house, they are going to board a metro or they are going to board a bus or train. They plan कि आज हमको ये customer का documentation करना है, वो करना है. By the time they reach office, they get to know that zonal office ने एक VC रखा है या Google Meet रखा है. So, what we have demanded is there should be a limitation on number of VCs. Give the branch manager see, if you have trusted a person to be a branch manager, if you have trusted a person to be a zonal manager, give him, her that space to perform. If you keep on monitoring again and again, that person will not get time to perform itself. It is like, see, a very simple story I will tell you. What it is more in other banks, again I'm saying, not in our bank. What happens? There was an ant who was very good at work. Chiti, you see, ants are supposed to be most disciplined. They would do their work diligently, sincerely, from one corner to other corner. So, the top management, what they thought, that ant itself is doing work without supervision so nicely. So what if we have somebody to supervise? And then they hired cockroach to look over the ant. What happened? Cockroach called ant, what are you doing? The ant said, I am transporting this food from this corner to other corner. No, you transport it later. You first report that you are transporting. So the performance of the ant went down because it was reporting more and more. So because the performance went down, the bosses thought that there is lack of supervision. So now you should have 2 cockroaches on the ant, which will ensure that the reporting becomes crystal clear. So now the performance at the ant, which was at 70%, it gradually reduced to 40% because now it has to report to 2 cockroaches. When we say that, it is the trust that we need to repose on the workforce. And I'm really confessing it to you all. Today, in our bank, in our FGMO, we have one of the best top executives, which are candid enough, and they are very open to mid-course correction. When we raise this issue to our top management, that, sir, there should be some restriction on the VCs that are happening from head office, because for head office, they are only looking after one department. My zonal office is looking after all the departments. My branches are looking after all the products. For zonal office, they are just concerned about, say, housing loan, or for gold loan, or for MSME. But for zone, all loans are similar. So, our MD and CEO, our executive directors, were gracious enough and benevolent enough to understand this issue also. When they understood that we should give our employees that much time to perform. And they have accepted this demand, like the circular that we got for WhatsApp reporting, like the circular that we got for review meetings. I'm sure in coming days, we'll definitely have the circular for the number of VCs. We have also raised one very pertinent issue, what Shwetang ji was saying. Season kaun sa chal raha hai abhi? It is not rainy season. It is APR season. Correct? What happens? The employee works tirelessly for the entire year for good APR. See, what the zonal manager, what the deputy zonal manager, what the branch manager, what can they give to their employee? Can they give 1 rupee extra? No. What is the salary? They have to give that only. But what they can give is APR. So that the employee is motivated to work more better. And what happens? Our hard-working employees, see, I am a student of economics. I can tell you all that the people working in branches are responsible for profit. They are the profit centers, because customer comes there. And the employees working in administrative offices are considered to be, as per economics, cost centers. Because customer does not come there, we don't disperse from there. And what happens in case of APR? There is a hard-working branch manager, there is a hard-working credit guy. There is no NPA in the branch, but he'll not get, because there is no NPA in the branch, he'll not get marks for recovery. He achieves the budget till March, 15th of March. Unfortunately, one account is taken over, or some CASA goes out of the branch. His budget, he falls short of his budget. His APR automatically comes to 74 or 84. And what happens to so-called blue-eyed boys and blue-eyed girls who are in administrative offices. They must have definitely wished bosses good morning, good evening, happy birthday sir, happy birthday madam to the everybody. They get how much? 94, 95. Why such anomaly? See, we are completely for tangibility. Yes, we want APRs to be tangible. But if it is tangible for all my officers who are in the branches, it should be tangible for everybody, right from somebody who's posted in RBC, to zonal office, to FGMO office, to head office. So that everybody's APR is accountable, everybody's APR is tangible. This only your Federation of Bank of India Officer Association can demand, because see, we want betterment, but we want betterment for all. Not only for the people who are working hard in branches. Everybody should be compensated properly. When I talk about our bank, see, I'll not breach time, but see, when I spoken about the benefits that your federation is demanding from the bank, today we need to understand what Nageshji also said, what Mukeshji also said. We firmly believe, till the time our mother institution is there, our Bank of India is there, our identity is there. Today, you might be scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's your identity in the society? The identity is, you are a Bank of India employee. Correct? In the society that you stay, in the friend circle that you roam around, what is your identity? The identity is that you are a PSU employee, you are a Bank of India employee. Tomorrow, if at all, the bank name does not remain. See, I'm not scaring you, but just see this, it's a glaring reality. Banks which had a legacy of 100 years, like Vijaya Bank, Dena Bank, Allahabad Bank, today, their logos are also not there. You see the logo of Union Bank, Corporation Bank, Andhra Bank are no more. You see the logo of Bank of Baroda, Vijaya Bank, Dena Bank are no more. So, our identity is with our organization. So, it's our bounden duty to ensure that our institution survives. If our institution is there, with firm conviction I can say, if our management is there, with firm conviction I can say, we can negotiate, we can bargain, we can fight with them, but it should be our management. We'll get the best of the perks, we'll get the best of the perquisites. For that, the only condition is that our bank should remain. And for that, there is a dire need that we'll look at Q1 very positively. Because, I'll just take you 5 years back, when the current government, in their previous tenure, had started in 2019, in the first 100 days itself, they rolled out all the agendas and the second round of mergers had happened. The grapevine that we have, this time also, all the financial reforms are underway. And if at all, there is an attempt for privatization, there is an attempt of disinvestment, there is an attempt of merger, though as a trade union, we definitely don't encourage mergers. But if merger is inevitable, we have to ensure that our bank emerges as an anchor bank and not as a merged bank. Because our identity should remain. And for that, there are two things. We need to grow our top line also. At the same time, we need to grow our bottom line also, which impacts our bottom line, the profits, and the top line also. For that, our MD and CEO has given a corporate goal of Q1 for this financial year that we need to surpass the business mix of 13.50 lakh CR. We have around 7 to 8 working days left in this quarter. My appeal to you all would be, you already are doing your best wherever you are posted, maybe in the branch, maybe in the zone, maybe in the FGMO, You already are doing your best. My request to you would be, in this 7 to 8 days, put more than 100% and ensure that whatever best we can do, we should do to grow the legitimate business of our bank. We should not cut the corners, but we should put our best foot forward so that our bank grows, our top line grows, our bottom line grows. And for that, the most important thing is that we should handhold each other. What happens, like Shwetang ji was saying, कि कोई branch manager, कोई branch का employee, if he calls zonal office, he does not get a response. My request to the people in the zonal offices, the people in the administrative offices is, kindly handhold the branch people. They are not calling you for fun. They are in some distress. They are having 10 customers standing in front of them. Somebody is agitated. Somebody is yelling at him or her. That is why they are calling. So kindly attend them. At the same time, whenever our branch people are asking for any query, asking for any solution, my request, have a car, how many tires it has, the answer will come. If you see from the front, you will see 2 tires. If you see diagonally, you will see 3 tires. As per manual, it has 4 tires. It's a 4-wheeler car, so it has 4 tires. If you include Stephanie, it will have 5 tires. So please be guided accordingly. See, that is not the type of hand-holding that we expect. Because you are at zonal office, you are at FGMO, you are at head office, you are expected to be an expert in that department. You are expected to handhold the branches. So my request to you would be, the branches are slogging hard to grow the business. You be a catalyst to it and ensure that the good, legitimate increase happens so that our top line grows, our bottom line grows. At the same time, what Mukesh ji was saying, knowledge worker. You need to enhance your knowledge. People at the branches, people at all the offices. Be a good reader. Because if you don't read your circulars, you'll not be aware what is right, what is wrong, what is lapse, what is as per circular. So don't rely on WhatsApp. What happens nowadays, if there is any query, what is the margin of housing loan? Immediate WhatsApp. Some person sitting at a remote corner replies, 10% margin. Okay, 10% margin. Don't rely on WhatsApp. Ensure that you read your circulars. Be a knowledge worker. Today what happens? Today the way you friendly call your bosses, अरे इसको कुछ नहीं आता है, he does not know anything. Tomorrow if you want that people don't say such things about you, because you will be getting promotion to scale 2, 3, 4, then people would be saying, अरे इसको पूछा उसको कुछ नहीं आता है. So, kindly be a reader. Ensure that you read your circulars so that you can do good quality business, because that is the need of the hour. And when I talk about that you need to grow bank's business properly. You need to ensure that your organization also survives. The Federation of Bank of India Officer Association survives. Bank of India Officer Association South Zone survives. Because I can tell you with complete honesty and complete conviction that if Bank of India is there, Federation of Bank of India Officer Association is there, आपके नाखून को भी धक्का नहीं लगेगा. You just ensure that both of them are there so that you are protected. See, bank, our mother institution, our Federation of Bank of India Officer Association are like those umbrella which you can use during summer season also, which you can use during rainy season also. It is that protective umbrella. We all are seeing what is happening to Paytm employees. We all are seeing what is happening to other Amazon, other private companies. People get hired, people get fired immediately. Till the time we have this sovereign guarantee over our head, we would be having the roof over our heads. So, it's our bounden duty to ensure that our bank gets stronger and our organization gets stronger. If these two are strong, there is no force on this planet which will harm you. So, my only request, my only appeal to all of you is कि आप बैंक ऑफ इंडिया को स्ट्रांग करो, फेडरेशन ऑफ बैंक ऑफ इंडिया ऑफिसर एसोसिएशन को स्ट्रांग करो, ऑटोमेटिकली आपका फ्यूचर सिक्योर्ड होगा। एंड उसके लिए आपको कुछ नहीं करना है, जो भी कॉल योर फेडरेशन गिव्स, जो भी कॉल योर साउथ जोन बैंक ऑफ इंडिया ऑफिसर एसोसिएशन साउथ जोन गिव्स, may it be call of physical demonstration, may it be call of a social media, may it be call of any agitation, kindly participate. If there is any call of our top management, like the call of Q1 for this financial year, contribute, participate, so that our bank remains, our federation remains. And before I sum up, just a small thing that I would like to tell you all. See, I've already informed you regarding the Q1 thing. There are few other things that are happening in our bank. Like, the vigilance setup has been changed. How many of you are aware? Just a raise of hands. Very few. Hardly 10-15 of you all. See, the setup has been changed, where earlier the disciplinary authority used to be at zone. If there is any lapse, it used to be dealt at zonal office. Now everything will go to the head office, where you have a centralized disciplinary authority who will look after the proceedings. See, the whole purpose is for the betterment. What we have been told, we had raised this issue to our MD and CEO, that there is fear among our officers, fear among employees, that tomorrow if any lapse happens, what will happen to my employees? What earlier used to happen, we had good top executives who were benevolent enough to distinguish between an operational lapse, a business decision, and a malified thing. So they used to treat it accordingly. Now at head office, those things will not happen. So we had raised it to our MD and CEO. Our MD and CEO has assured to look into it. At the same time, I can tell you with complete belief, any bona fide mistake, any operational lapse that happens on the behalf of officer, if there is no malified intention, definitely we will ensure that the officer is saved. You just concentrate properly on doing good quality business without cutting the corners. And for that, what I have told, ensure that you work diligently, read your circulars properly, and be a good contributor towards the growth of the bank. There are few more things that I would like to tell you all is, I am sure you all would have understood that AIBOC has lost a case with respect to the perquisites. Are you aware? Most of you are aware. Because every year before March, we used to give a declaration. If at all AIBOC, Federation of Bank of India Officer Association, loses the case, whatever would be the tax liability that would be paid by the employee, tabhi to de diya. Because that time we wanted to take reimbursement claims without reading much, I agree karke chhod diya. Today, just an update to you all, not to panic. We have already had hired one of the best lawyers in the country. It was Datarji. He is considered an authority in taxation, a very senior counsel, practicing in Supreme Court for the last 30 years. We lost the case, theek hai, because many of the decisions of the judiciary are not in favor of the employees nowadays. It is in the favor of the government. So this decision has gone against us. We have requested more senior counsel to file for an appeal, and we are in process of filing an appeal. After that only, all these tax liabilities will come. But just an update to you all, if at all it does not get permitted, it does not get filed, the liability that would come to all the employees would not be less than 2 to 3 lakh rupees. That would be the tax liability that is going to come. So I'm not telling you to push the panic button, but you understand what your Federation of Bank of India Officer Association is doing for you all, what your AIBOC is doing for you all. क्योंकि जब तक वो आपको आएगा नहीं, तब तक आपको समझेगा नहीं. आपको लगता था कि चल रहा है. We were fighting for the last more than 1 decade, and we were saving our officers. Just to highlight to you all, ऐसा बहुत सारा चीज़ हम लोग हमारा एम्प्लॉय का बेनिफिट्स के लिए कर रहे हैं, आगे भी करते रहेंगे. be rest assured that your federation is strong enough to fight for all the legitimate things. Your bank management is benevolent enough to pass on the benefits. See, as a responsible federation, it's our bounden duty, what we feel. We have raised it to our bank's top management also. As a commercial organization, we should look at increasing our income and not at cutting the cost. We should not be penny wise and pound foolish. आप अच्छा काम करो और उस अच्छे काम के बदले अपना पूरा हक भी मांगो. That is what the real trade union is about, the real negotiation is about. So, as 8.5 lakh bankers across the country, or you include the private sector employees, you include RRBs also, we are 20 lakh bankers. We 20 lakh plus our spouses or our family members, 60 lakhs. Spread across the country, we cannot even impact one constituency. So will the government look at us, or will the government look at their core constituency, that is the trader community, which gives vote to them? Because the day 5-day banking would be announced or is supposed to be announced, the first thing what happened was the trader community raised an alarm, wrote a letter to the finance ministry that bankers should not be given 5-day banking. Till that time, you just enjoy your second and fourth, and really, see, understand this, take care of yourself, because जब तक आप लोग हैं, तब तक बैंक है, आपसे बैंक है, बैंक से आप नहीं है. Take care of your health, take care of your family. बैंक, आप अपना काम सही से करेंगे, बैंक का take care हो जाएगा. With this, I thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity, and to you all for giving me a patient listening, and congratulate you all for the successful decisions that you have taken in the business session in the morning, and I express my sincere gratitude to all of you. With this, once again, thank you for giving me a patient listening. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Bank of India.
Thank you, comrade, for inspiring us with your powerful keynote address.